Hey, good people. Welcome to our Thursday Food for Thought. I'm Rachel Rosen, and I am so proud and honored to get to be here and have a conversation with Malaika Salaam back again for, what is this? This is our fourth week, I think? Fourth, or it's been a
Oh,
minute.
that's about right.
Yeah. Yeah. And the intention here with these Thursday Food for Thought offerings is really just to do that, to offer some food for thought and to offer some provocations and some things for our community, the Spark community, to think about, chew on, talk about, come back to in our Friday pop-ups that we have every week. And so we just want to acknowledge that the past few weeks have been pretty heavy for a lot of reasons, but in particular with our Spark Food for Thought. We've had a lot of meat on the plate these past couple of weeks. And so we want to just take a step back and talk about this theme of the importance of spaciousness and creating spaciousness, and also finding the balance. And so I'm going to pass it over to Malaika to bring our food for thought to life this week, if you would be so kind.
Thank you so much. So when we do these, pre-check-ins, I love the fact that we can be in these two different places and be in exactly the same place and exactly the same page. Because this week, and hey y'all, hey, sorry, no manners. So I am just profoundly moved by that and deeply appreciative of this space where we can cultivate these conversations and be very honest and very, very vulnerable about where we wind up. And so for this week, I feel the fatigue all around me. And some days I feel the fatigue and I experience the fatigue personally. And I always want to check in and just see, how you are and where you are. I know you have a lot of things on your plate. But I think the general consensus is we have done a lot of heavy lifting for the past.
Oh no, Malaika, you froze. Can you hear me?
Still recording because okay, so it was frozen for a minute.
We froze, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I'm not sure which part it froze on. So the shorter version of this is that we've done all of this work, we've done all of this heavy lifting in an effort to give people some information on how to take good care of themselves. So we have moved from self-care, which I think is a very kind of the top layer of how we take care of ourselves. I don't want to say superficial because it is meaningful, but we've kind of gone to the secondary and like tertiary layer of this, which is deep care of self. And so to that end, we don't want to do additional work this week. We want to give out some tools. One of the tools that I have been using, especially to help me take a break and to decompress. Meditation is not always a convenient practice in terms of being able to, if running is your meditation and you're having a conflict with an employer, you may not be able to stop and go for a jog. So you have to figure out how to be mindful and present in that moment. And sometimes it just helps to have a tool. So my good friend Giovanni Dortch actually told me about this. It is Janae Eiko's trigger protection mantra. And so we're going to link that so that you guys can take some time with that. It's a little under 7 minutes, but it is just a perfect way to kind of hit the reset button. So if you're not sure of what a break looks like, it may just be listening to the mantra. And the mantra may, you may listen to it when you're driving or sitting down, but it's just an opportunity to stop and purposely, deliberately put a break in there for yourself. Mm-hmm. And so that is what I would like to offer this week, is an opportunity for us to be intentional about what break time looks like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, and we'll put that link down below. And I think just acknowledging that people are doing a lot of heavy lifting, right? It's the importance of breaks, especially when we talk about the metaphor of the marathon, not the sprint. We cannot just run back-to-back marathons. Our bodies aren't designed for that. And so I think the figuring out, we're all figuring this out, and I'm committed to working and learning in public around like, what does it look like to create healthy boundaries, to take breaks that are grounded in integrity, and also holding space for the assumption that the work will continue. It's that, how do you create the spaciousness that's necessary for the thoughts and the balance that we need, while also acknowledging that there's urgency. There is real urgency. So it's not like a long-term break. It's a pause, because we need these pockets of pauses and rest and rejuvenation in order to sustain the work. And I just appreciate you reminding us that this week, that we need, that there are different tools out there, and we can keep bringing more and more, because there are more tools that we can have. And I'll be curious, before we close out, like what has been helpful? Why do you, or how do you notice that the either listening to the trigger protection mantra or finding those tools that are in your toolkit, how have they impacted your capacity to stay in the marathon and stay in the long haul?
Well, that's just it. The impact has been that I'm still able to be here. Through all of the things that I have experienced, it would not surprise anybody if I was like off, if I just went off. People would be like, oh, well, kind of saw that coming, like, because there's a lot of stuff going on. And I think that is the same for so many of us because of our experiences. And so I just have come from this place of learning to listen to myself, learning to listen to my instincts about things, but also listening for spirit, like listening for the voice of my ancestors, and not just in like in like the woo-woo, oh, my people are speaking to me way, but the things that they taught me, the things that they passed down, the things that I've seen. I come from a very resilient people. In the midst of all of these things that we're talking about, in the midst of all of these things that we're calling attention to, we haven't decided that we want revenge. We're still just asking for equity. And in the midst of all of this, we have created family intentionally, deliberately. We're not extinct. We kept going. So that lets me know that it is possible. So it's like, well, how did they do it? They did it through music, through dance, through community, through food, through socializing, through passing down stories. This is why the wellness wheel is important. This is how we connect to the wellness wheel, because I'm able to see in all of those different spaces, what did the people who came before me do to make it possible for me to be here now? What breadcrumbs did they leave? And how do I encounter those breadcrumbs and incorporate them and integrate them into my life now? That's what it is. That's the impact, why I'm still able to be here.
Thank you. And that's what we got to remember, is that there are there's just so many layers to this conversation, and there's so much wisdom in just slowing down and really listening to the folks who are already using so many tools and tapped into all the different layers of why the impact that this has had on your life and our lives. And so I thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. I think the other thing is there are so many tools, and we don't have to use all of the tools. We have to figure out which tools work best for us. And the best way to figure that out is not while we're on the run, not while we're going, full steam ahead, but when we can slow down and be attentive to it, right? And so I think that for me, when you said the word pause, that for me was the thing that stuck. This is a pause week. This is a week where it's time to hit the pause button. Doesn't mean that we're stopping. It just means that we're pausing. We need a break. We need to catch our breath. We need to recalibrate. We need to regroup and figure out what the tool is. So hopefully the tool that I'm suggesting this week will be helpful and of some use to people. It's just, again, it's a mantra. It's a few minutes to just sit and be quiet and take it in and see where it lands for you. And it's a very simple and necessary mantra, I judge, for now, because it's calm down and protect your energy. And I think we could all use some of that right now.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I look forward to listening to it. And I look forward to hearing what it sparks for the folks in the Spark community. So y'all, when you have a chance to listen to it, share in the comments below and let us know how it makes you feel, the impact that it has on you. And then also feel free to add any tools that you found helpful that are in your toolkit, like things that really remind you to hit the pause button, things that have been helping you to rebalance, recalibrate, because like you said, there's not one answer, one tool. Everybody needs to kind of find their own authentic way into this space and creating what it means to authentically have spaciousness in order to sustain this work. So let's get the dialogue going about the tools and resources that are helping folks sustain this work and stay in it. And that means we need breaks and we need pauses. So I thank you for sharing. I'm excited to listen and look forward to hearing from folks about what this sparks for them this week.
Absolutely. Always grateful to be here. Always grateful to be in this space. Gives me a chance also to pause and to reflect and think about these things outside of my little individual space that I can sometimes create. So thank you once again, always, for opening up the floor, for being committed to having this space and providing this space and continuing to hold space. That's a lot of work for you. So I'm always concerned about you and you getting what you need as well, because the healers also need healing.
100%. That's why I gotta go set some boundaries and get off the grid for a little while. But this is what I do. Like this is how we roll, and I appreciate you for looking out and always reminding that, holding up the mirror for me, because it's just a daily practice, and I'll always be a work in progress. But I thank you so much, Malaika. I feel so grateful for this friendship and this collaboration, and I look forward to next week and talking a little bit more about environmental wellness and why the space that we surround ourselves in and with really make a difference for how we feel. So I'm excited to dig into that next week.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about the sunflower that's right back, because environmental wellness in our space, absolutely an imperative.
Beautiful. All right, my friend. Well, you all be well, and we look forward to connecting and sharing and learning together in the weeks to come. And until next time, y'all take good care and be well.
Take good care.
Bye.